Hello everyone and welcome to your Saturn placement. After doing Jupiter, I really wanted to get to this one, but of course, just takes time, like the lesson of Saturn. As someone who's kind of an optimist, I guess I would call myself, and I like to believe in the positive things and I kind of love Disneyland. The serious nature of Saturn was probably the last planet that I really delved into. But there's so much to learn here. Saturn is the realist. It's here to teach you that lifelong lesson. So welcome, my fellow masochists. You have made it to the harshness of reality. I'll make it as pleasant as possible. If you want some feel-good vibes, stop now and watch the Jupiter videos. Just kidding. Saturn is called malefic because it's a place of hardship. Hardships are not random. They're not just the gods laughing at us, or maybe they are, but they are there to teach us a lesson. All of these lessons throughout all of these years, over time, the long haul of Saturn will teach us mastery. So what started as one of your greatest weaknesses will become one of your greatest strengths. When I did the Jupiter videos, one of the comments was that since I presented Jupiter as a superpower, I should present Saturn as Kryptonite. I thought that was such a great idea. Now, I don't know much about the Superman comics, but I do know enough to know what Kryptonite is. If Superman, over time, builds up his immunity to Kryptonite, then that is exactly what Saturn is all about. I also got some criticism for having so much about the actual planet and not as much about the specific traits of your placement. So I'm going to put more in there. But to know about the planet itself is important because it teaches you what's the difference between having a Saturn in Scorpio versus a Saturn ascendant. And when I was first learning about astrology, that was probably the thing that confused me the most. So that is why I spend so much time. Saturn is the slow burn. It's the delayed effect. Usually this area is something that we care so much about, but it seems so unobtainable. And then when we finally get there, we will look back and say it's really worth the journey. This is an area that's going to require dedication, patience, and time. You might feel like your father figure, or God isn't bringing you anything in this area. Like you put so much effort and then it's just not rewarded like Jupiter is. You have to do all of the work, and it's true. There are no spiritual guides or beings that are going to give you that extra boost in this area. This is good old-fashioned blood, sweat, and tears. It's an area that has to be aged like a fine wine. There's also often a lot of shame, which is a huge obstacle. There's this inner voice, you shouldn't do this. Push and pull of something you want, but something you feel is shameful. And for some people, Saturn is mostly about getting past that kind of shame in that area. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. So let's get into your Saturn placements. Saturn in Aries. The mantra for this position is I am the perfect me and I am more than enough. In Aries, Saturn is in its fall, so it's a very difficult position to have. Usually someone here feels like they are constantly being attacked, constantly needing to be defensive. They will take things personally when it was not intended by anyone to be an attack at all. They will often have a temper that flares up out of nowhere, and if they're aware of it, they won't know what causes it. Part of it is your upbringing. You might have had a parent that was angry, and you learn the harsh lesson of that anger is bad and aggression is bad. And so you deny it until it just creeps up and jumps out of the box without any control. Often with a Saturn in Aries, you're a very gentle person. And so when your anger does flare up, it's just so hard to accept as part of you. Early in life, you probably found it nearly impossible to be yourself, to even know who you were, where you fit in, what you want, what your passions are. This is often somebody who is overpowered by other people, stronger personalities around them. If life was a board game, this would be start. And basically with this position, start has been removed. So your starting place of self is invisible. You have to find it. The simple art of knowing yourself. Accepting yourself. It's common for this person to lose themselves in stronger personalities and actually seek out these stronger personalities to pretty much take control and to dominate. I would encourage you to find people that see you. even though they might be really repulsive to be around because they're going to get under your skin. Through this example and through this mirror, it's going to change your life. It's going to take time, but here you really have to build ego. Ego is good. A balance of ego, not too much, not too little. Also, aggression can be good. If you suppress it too much, it's going to come out when you least expect it and when you least want it to come out. So at least controlled aggression, having it, that energy be put into something useful. Maybe listen to heavy metal or something like that. To be unashamed of having confidence and pride. To be unashamed of putting yourself first, to taking your piece of the pie that you deserve and not having to backpedal into it later. What are the insecurities that are holding you back? Where do you feel that you are not enough or that you are not right or you are not good? These ideas about selfishness and ego and needing a lack of ego have to be completely exorcised from your mantras. In your upbringing, you might have had parents that taught you to banish self. Maybe they were super religious, or maybe they were so egotistical that they had to take all of that and whatever was left, there just wasn't room for you to be yourself. The greatest obstacle in your life that is holding you back from being yourself is you. Rejection of self, rejection of identity. It's not noble. It's just fear, plain and simple. You might also find yourself harshly criticizing, disliking people that are egotistical, but also being secretly attracted to that quality. And you might find yourself being surrounded by people that are egotistical. You could fall into a web of egomaniacs if you're not careful, because it's easier than truly standing up for yourself. Like I said, when you find that person that really sees you and believes that you are enough, they believe in you. And it is just so hard. There must be something severely wrong with them if they believe in you, because you don't believe in yourself and nobody's ever believed in you. Stop criticizing them. They have seen something that others don't see. That makes them special. They see the diamond in the rough. When you learn to embrace your identity and your ego as a strength, the childish flare-ups will go away. Suddenly, you will find that you are very even keel and there's no need for this tantrum or this temper that comes out of nowhere. And so many other gifts will come your way, like passion, feeling that constant stream of passion through your body. Pleasure, a zest for life, leadership, courage, independence, and a healthy dose of risk-taking. Instead of a life of trying to constantly prove yourself, realize that the fight is within. The only person you're truly trying to prove yourself to is you. No one can attack you worse than you've already attacked yourself. Before learning the gift of Aries and mastering it, this swinging back and forth between selfish and selfless is a constant theme through your life. You give up too much and then you take too much. Self-sabotage, not knowing what you want, not knowing what you're passionate about, being attracted to other people's passion, feeling like that could suffice and that could be enough, but it's not enough. Now, in terms of business or career, this is the flash in the pan kind of career. This is somebody who's probably going to take a huge risk and it's going to pay off. They're going to have a life that is sort of unreal in terms of their business savvy because others would just be way too scared and it probably wouldn't work for them. But when you find that balance between that quick action and the patience and reserve of Saturn, you'll have the best of both worlds. You'll be able to realize those long-term goals and also be able to act quickly when an opportunity arises. Hope you guys enjoyed my take on Saturn in Aries and come back for the next video.